Okay, let's get started. I will share my screen. Welcome to the TOC meeting for Tuesday, February 20th. We start by reviewing our action items from last week. Let's review. Chris has a lot of them and is conveniently not here. We only put one name on all of these. I think these might all be other Chris though. Let's see. Clarify CVE number. That's Chris Clark.
They were all Chris Clark.
Slack invite, Chris Clark. This one's from me, execute removal. I said I was going to do it on February 20th because that's 2 weeks, so I'll do it after this meeting. Submit TOC update talk. Wow, everyone with action items. Not here. Great, that's quick. I'll do this one after this meeting. Nice and easy. We'll go with Jo-Chen. Would you like to give us an update?
Yes, I can do so. Can you unshare so that I can share? So, this is probably here our biggest topic as of now, the FIPS validation. So we have set up this nice pipeline to validate the FIPS stem cell against CF deployment. So basically, it's the same procedure that we did when we started to validate the JAMI stem cell. The only difference here is that the FIPS stem cell needs authentication so that we can download it. This was a bit tricky. And then we deploy plain CF deployment without too many modifications on AWS and run the Cloud Foundry acceptance tests and the smoke tests. And I think just last week, the tests turned green for the first time. So before they were somewhat concourse green, but actually it's 2 weeks. No. Yeah. So before some time ago, they were concourse green, but indeed they failed. So now what does this mean? We have resolved all the issues listed here in this parent issue. So all cloud controller changes have been made and released. All Diego changes have been made. There's just 1 or 2 switches in Kapi release where this legacy MD5 mode is explicitly turned off, and then we will turn it on by default in one of the next major releases. And I think then we are done with the FIPS validation for CF deployment. Well,
I noticed there was in that issue, there was one thing that was still open.
yes, we wanted to close that. That was duplicate basically. So some time ago, someone listed the same issues that we found, and yeah, we can close this one. So,
but are those the same issues? Because those look like health monitor endpoints and stuff.
You can get a lot of issues when you deploy an old version of Kapi on FIPS, and in particular, when your TLS termination, a lot of things can wrong with the TLS termination. So, for example, we had to use an application load balancer instead of a classic load balancer with a certain security policy to get a TLS termination running. That was very tricky. If you use HA proxy, Go router, there may be other issues. So we can ask simply the author to retest on the latest versions. And
yeah,
I'm
it's
pretty sure we
the
can.
for example, this the syslog related one. I mean, it's not gonna fail Cappy, but I mean, I think that's like further component validation, right? That's gonna reveal issues like that.
Yeah.
Okay, but from your point of view, there's nothing left to do. Cats is passing.
So far, there's nothing left to do unless we do find in one component a code path which still uses a deprecated hash or whatever algorithm. There could be some follow-up items, but most of the work should be done by now.
Great.
Okay, then two other smaller items. We removed the deprecated Windows Server 2016 stack. So last year I asked if anyone is still using that stack, and I got absolutely no reply. And then we decided to simply remove it. And Stefan Merger has made a small contribution. So now in our deployment guide, we have a list of databases that are explicitly tested and supported by CF deployment. Before, it wasn't really clear which versions and which variants of MySQL and Postgres were supported. This is now explicitly documented. Yeah. Any questions, comments, suggestions? Okay, and let me unshare.
That's great that the FIPS work is seems to be done. Is the FIPS that pipeline blocking release of CF deployment?
No, it is not. It's triggered for new FIPS stem cell versions and for CF deployment release candidates, but it does not block anything. I guess this is fine.
We could make up our minds. What is the yeah?
Like if we say FIPS is GA, right? I would want it to be blocking, right? But if we don't feel like that, maybe it's fine like this.
Mm.
I mean, as long as nobody is using FIPS in production, it's difficult to say. We can say from the community it's GA, whatever this means. But I know on our side we will do the next steps in Q2 regarding FIPS and then see. But of course, it's a slightly different FIPS than the one in the community because you buy the FIPS stem cell on a separate channel. And let's see.
We're in the same boat on that one as well. You know, we were waiting to, and we got our first candidate that came through not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, but we haven't gotten to it yet in our test cycle. But yeah, you know, it's gonna. I know you guys built that one internally, so there could be some slight deviations. We know we talked about this before, so.
Yeah, I don't expect major
I don't know if it's quite ready for the level of blocking yet on a CF deployment. You know, I don't think it's there yet. I think as more customers get in line with what they're doing like us and like Stefan said with SAP and we get into our testing and stuff like that, then maybe that's probably the appropriate time to have that discussion.
Yeah. So we should probably revisit in a month or two.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we have one customer that's like adopting it currently.
Okay. I think this is exactly what is needed to take such a decision.
Yeah. But it's like early adoption, like just trying out, and no production environments have been upgraded yet. So I think it's all in the same stage.
I'm on the other note, I'm glad to see a list of databases to know what you all test against. I'm curious what the expectation from everyone else is about Teams testing. Like, my guess is that my team, which like releases runtime and stuff, tests with things that you have listed as explicitly out of support. Like, I do believe we test with 5.7, probably because we had to test with it once, and then we've just never removed that box from our pipeline, would be my guess. But I guess
Yeah.
I'm asking for the opinion of the TOC and you, Jishan, about
I mean, MySQL 7.5 is out of support. It's dead.
yeah, or 5.7.
So
5.7,
5.7.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, that's, yeah.
Yeah.
Realistically, we don't test with MySQL at all at SAP because we use Postgres exclusively. However, this came up actually when we implemented a complex database migration in Kapi. And here, of course, we have to
Oh,
support
yes.
both databases. And there were very tricky changes because we tested everything on MySQL just to find out that what is actually used is a Galera cluster, which then doesn't support table locks. And it became so complex that we said, now we want to at least write it down so that the teams can take that as a guidance, what should be tested and what not. It's a starting point, yeah.
Yeah, we for the platform itself exclusively use Postgres. We're running on AWS, so we're kind of trapped into what AWS allows us to support. We do broker MySQL and Postgres for customers, and we're at that backlog right now with a bunch of older instances on 5.7, and Amazon is conveniently now going to charge you extra rather than force you through an upgrade because Amazon. But anyway, the interesting piece here though is 5.7 to 8 is not easy because in 8 was a major change where they changed a lot of reserve words, and that can break a lot of legacy stuff. So I mean, I could definitely appreciate not even considering 5.7 in the mix at that point just because of that alone with the schema change.
But we are talking here only about the CF databases, right? Not about customer databases. I mean, this is completely out of scope, but
Yeah.
I think Cloud Controller database is the most complex one with lots of migration stuff. Then comes maybe
Yep.
UAA and the Diego databases. They are rather
Yeah.
simple, let's say a few tables. So
Okay, so we feel good about every team taking this as rule.
as guidance, yeah. At the end of the day, for CF, we have to say it for CF deployment, right? We discussed also, at least in the RE working group, where we should want to document it, and then decided it doesn't make sense in single projects. It should go to CF deployment, and that's where it ended up.
Yeah, I'm glad it's documented now. Is there anything we can do for you? Oh, or you can add something?
Right now, I would say everything is fine. Stefan already asked me about my wishes for Q2, but there is not too much to do at the moment. With FIPS, I don't expect any more bigger challenges. Next stack, CF Linux FS5 is not within reach yet, so everything is fine. We can focus on maybe stabilizing the acceptance tests and keeping our concourse up to date. So right now, I would say everything is fine.
Does it make sense to do some sort of like maybe retro type thing on the FIPS process, right? Because it was like a cross working group collaboration effort. Maybe there were some lessons learned on like how we want to coordinate these things in the future, and then especially around like maybe Noble, right? Next stem cell coming up. I mean, there's no RFC yet for that, right? But that's at least something being talked about, right? Maybe we want to, I don't know, formalize some processes of how we want to these types of things to happen. Like, for example, me personally, I've had a few cases where I was like spending a day looking at a thing, and then at the end of the day, looking at this issue, finding that like someone posted the same thing, but then the solution like an hour before my end of day. It was like, oh shit, someone else was looking at this as well, right?
Yeah,
with a lot
this
of
can happen. Yeah, we have
that,
also duplicates here, certainly.
yeah. I mean, I think it was a great. I was really impressed with like the speed with which the community was able to address all these issues, right? But I mean, there were also some inefficiencies. Like if we had to coordinate a bit better.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, in total, I think it was quite impressive how fast we
Yeah,
identified
definitely.
issues and provided
Also,
solutions.
like,
So
it was the end of the year as well, right? Like it was during that Christmas period. Like even as stuff was
yes,
on then, like it was crazy. Yeah.
it was end of the year. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if you like, we can have a retrospective. It's just a question whom to invite. What was this first run? November 13th was mid of November. We started with our first experiments, and now everything is green. Well, not too bad.
No, it's no, definitely not bad.
Yeah.
That's really good. Yeah.
Is that an action item for you, Ruben?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, can I invite you, Jochen?
Yes, sure.
Jochen?
Thank you so much for your update.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen again. Let's review some PRs. If my computer decides to load. There must be a lot of things on this board. Let's see. Maybe I'll just look at the normal
I think there are just two
PR
PRs.
list. Okay.
One is CVE numbering and RFC, where we need more input by Chris.
Okay, so we're waiting on
And
that one.
the other one is a work in progress RFC on the generic per route feature.
Okay. Maybe we'll give everyone an action item to review this, since it doesn't look like it's
still in draft.
Hmm.
It's still in draft, right? I would say it's not ready for review yet.
maybe. Sure. But if you're excited, you can review it.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
Suggested action item.
An optional one.
Yes. Okay. Any other business? Great. Good seeing you all. I'm going to remove some outside collaborators right now.
Enjoy.
Okay.
Just quick
Bye, Gene.
update about.
Oh, what's that, Ron?
Sorry, I just had a quick update about the upcoming Cloud Foundry Day.
Okay.
So the website is live. You can go to cloudfoundry.org/events and find it there. CFPs are open. I'm really looking forward to some good CFPs from all of the different orgs. I think CFPs stay open for another approximately 15 days. So we're, like I said, really looking forward to seeing some good CFPs in there. So if you know of people who are interested in submitting talks, if you know of people who are on the fence about considering submitting a talk, please push them towards doing it. We have a rudimentary program committee finalized. So for folks who submitted their interest, thank you. We also have, I mean, it's kind of informal, but we have enough people for like 2 program committees. So thanks for coming forward on that. But yeah, we're also going to be announcing Cloud Foundry Day Europe very soon. So keep your eyes open for that announcement as well. And I'll obviously inform this group of that. Yeah, just looking for some support at the moment for the CFP submission right now. So if you can push folks to do that, please do so. Thank you.
Great. I'll be there. Okay. I will see you all next Tuesday.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.